we call the August 11th, I thought it was the 10th, the August 11th meeting of the Revere Cultural Council to order at 5:10 PM. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So we'll begin with the roll call of our members that are present. Lark?
Here.
Jaime?
Here.
Debbie?
Here.
And Joe Heifetz is on his way, and I am Rocky Graziano, also present. Absent from today's meeting, Samantha Harrington. So the first thing that we're going to do prior to going into our meeting is to accept the minutes from our meeting, which was held on July 7th, 2025. All members of the council did receive the minutes prior to, or right after the meeting. So I would just need a motion on the floor to accept our minutes from the last meeting.
I put forward a motion to accept the minutes from the meeting of July 7th.
Excellent. So we have Debbie is put forth the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Lark has seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion
Aye.
passes.
Aye.
Accept the meeting minutes. Thank you. All right. So team, everyone has our agenda. I want to go over a couple of logistical things and then save the conversation pieces for when Joe gets here around communication plan and attendance at events. I know those are things that are really passionate. So we might go a little out of order, but the agenda for today, we're going to review the cycle dates and updated guidelines. There is a training for all local cultural council members on August 20th, 6 p.m., I believe it is, right?
Yes.
6 p.m. meeting that you have to register prior to from either the information that was sent to us from the Cultural Council, from Mass Cultural Council, or you can do it right from the website. So please be sure to do that. I believe there will also be a recording. So if you can't go on, we can look at that afterwards. The updated guidelines were also attached to that email as well. So if you wanted to review them prior to have more discussion when you're on the call, that is something that you can do as well. So we'll talk through the dates, some highlights of the guidelines. We'll discuss a communication plan, which I hope will be an open discussion for us to brainstorm some ideas as to how we want to approach the cycle going forward. Something that has come up a couple of times in the past year amongst ourselves in public, as well as some side conversations, to be completely transparent, is our presence and attendance at events. So I'd like to throw around a discussion where we as a team determine what does that look like for us as a group, and how do we want to approach that so we can support the members, the projects that we have granted funds to. Every member of the committee also needs to update their individual profile on the Mass Cultural Council website. Pretty simple. When we get to that meeting agenda item, I'll talk through what that looks like. I then want to confirm that everyone is available or can be available for the meetings that we have in the fall. In particular, we should be looking around our October, November dates, December, when we get into the grant decisions, because that will be something that will be pretty important. And then any new business that anybody has that they want to bring up is what I think we'll cover in the next 46 minutes. So let's start off with the updated cycle and guidelines. So I'm going through this again. I'm looking right at the camera because I can't help myself. I'm sorry. But also, just looking straight out, just so that everyone out there in Revere TV land knows that you can come to the council meetings. They will be posted. We'll go over the times for those. We'd love to have you here. If you have questions about the grant process or anything, we'd like to hear from you. So please start to look at the calendar on revere.org. And join us, because we'd love to hear from the community that we are supporting. So we'll go over what those dates are coming up. Feel free to come in and take advantage of our budding expertise and just whatever we can do to help support you through this process, as we are all pretty passionate about seeing more groups, more applications this cycle, so that we can have a really tough time when it comes to determining who will be awarded those funds. So And I do apologize to all of you out there in TV land. I am getting over a voice thing, so that's where we're at. I do want to go over the dates that we have available here on the flyer that I distributed to the rest of the council. So major dates, applications for the grant cycle open on September 2nd, 2025. There will be an info session online sponsored by the Massachusetts Cultural Council. It's a webinar. So if you are a budding grant writer and you want to put forth a project and you want some additional tips, tricks, you want to ask questions, please feel free to attend that session. We will make sure that we promote it on our Instagram page. We're going to start to use that a little bit more going forward. So it's Revere Cultural Council at Instagram. The info session's on the 9th, as we said, and then the application deadline is October 16th of 2025. So all materials need to be supported and submitted through the portal. Council members, are there any questions or anything that you would like to elaborate on any of those items with just the rough outline of what the next couple of events are?
Good.
The only thing I would like to add is that keep in mind that there is a diversity office here. So if you do have questions, you can come talk to the diversity office. I'm here in the basement. So if you have questions, you could also do that as well. But I strongly suggest the webinar as stated by our chair.
Good.
Good. We're still getting used to like how official we have to be. I'm like, thankfully we get to practice it without a whole bunch of people in front of us, right?
Yeah, this is true.
So when we're sold out, it'll be great. So team, the training, I think we're all signed up for the training on the 20th, yes?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Which will be really helpful. We've been getting a lot of support from our liaison, Greg, as well. So he did point out that would be a really good opportunity for us to get some additional learning for ourselves. Before we move through the other items, let's talk through updating our individual profiles on the Mass Cultural Council site. So when you go into, so first, I know I've done it. Jaime, I know you've done it. Debbie,
I have.
Lark, you haven't. So I can walk you through that afterwards just to show you what it looks like.
Okay, thank you.
It's pretty simple. All it is just making sure we have the right updated phone number. Your email address, I think, is correct in there. And we'll make sure that Joe has it so that I can submit. I have a report that has to be submitted by August 26th, which we've already agreed to our guidelines and our priorities at the last meeting. So those are already in there, saved in draft mode. I'm just gonna submit once everybody updates their profile so that I can put in the right information into the system.
Okay, thank you.
Okay? All right, we're just barreling through this, aren't we? All right, so now what I think will be more of a discussion, and we could start it, and when Joe comes, I'm sure he'll have some perspective here. So I did share, way out there in TV land, I shared a draft of the flyer with the council members here. So the purpose of the flyer is to advertise within different spaces for new grants writers or new projects, new people that maybe haven't been aware that we even exist or that we have this opportunity. So we had a flyer that was distributed to the team. I know I can't show it on the screen. I'll figure out how to do that next time. It's really pretty. It's in the right colors. But it's pointing out the application dates, the QR code to the application, the grant portal itself, and then some high-level priorities and focuses for people in the community to understand that this really is open to anybody that has any type of arts, humanities, or cultural interest or project that they want to submit forward. On the flyer, it does state the typical grant award as being a minimum of $250, and that is the minimum, going to around $2,000. That amount can vary. So I don't want people out there that are listening to this, hopefully we have lots of people listening, that think that the max is $2,000. That's not what it is, but the average amount of what generally gets granted across the Commonwealth of Massachusetts seems to be around that. So any feedback, comments, thoughts on the flyer? I'm gonna be quiet now while I listen.
I
So-
thought it was catching. You know, it caught my attention. You know, it's a beautiful flyer. We just have to get it out there, I guess, on the different social platforms. I've had a lot of success, using, using Facebook advertising, and this is before Instagram came out, for my real estate business, and I got a lot of things, I received a lot of hits just from advertising things on Facebook. So maybe that's one outlet. I don't know if that's still as effective since I haven't been doing it lately, but I did get a lot of business, real estate-wise, advertising my things on Facebook. So that might be an outlet.
I think we have to see if we have any budget. I know we can take a small percentage. So Joe, we're just talking through the flyer comms plan. We did all the boring stuff at the beginning about just the overview of the dates and things. So I actually, we do have an operational budget, so we might be able to put forth some money on the Facebook ad.
Okay.
So I can take that as a, Debbie, if you want to make a note there, I'm happy to ask if we can do that, because I can just get reimbursed afterwards. It's not a big deal. Because they're usually pretty cheap. You can do like a $20
Yeah,
run
Exactly.
with it and go with it.
Thank you.
So that might be something that we can do. I think that's a great idea, because it will focus on people that have certain buzzwords, probably, that are similar in the ad, so we can take a look at that. So I think that that's a great idea, Lark. As I know, Jaime, you were trying to chime into, was there any other feedback that you had on the flyer before we move into a more discussion around the comms plan?
Only, I don't know if this is a motion or not, but just requesting that we translate it into a few other languages for the flyer.
I think we should be able to do that. If we can't, we'll see if my good friend and assistant ChatGPT can.
And then the other part about translation, is keeping in mind to everybody that's out there in TV land. as
Right,
we
you like that I
call
said
it.
it's TV land,
Yeah, I
right?
love
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I'm copying that one.
Take it.
It's posted on the agenda on the website with the Cultural Council. If you do want to request translation when you want to participate, you just got to do it 48 hours in advance. There are Spanish interpreters as well. By emailing translation@revere.org. Just want to mention that. Thank you.
Thank you for that note. Any other thoughts on the flyer before we go into a more robust discussion about the communication plan?
I thought the flyer looked great. I was thinking of sending a copy to all the principals of the school in the city.
That's a good
And then they can pass it on to their community PT, whoever would take care of it, so that everyone, that didn't know about it, because generally a few schools are aware of it, that everyone would have a chance, maybe even the senior center, if there's a project, that would.
That's a great
Thanks,
idea.
I keep getting confused with having my microphone on. So it sounds like, Joe, is there any, did you see the flyer that we had? I know you brought something in too to show us.
I had brought a flyer last year, just for other cultural councils, what they do with it and where it's left. And they typically put it in places where they're displayed. So they do a art show in the city hall, so they have the flyer in City Hall, just so you can take a few of them there. And they have it in the library, which is a public space, because that's available for everything, and that's where a lot of our programming takes place, is the library too. But it's to target, like you said, the places where we typically have programming for people who may not know about it. So we may have one copy or something that goes out to the principal, but the teachers themselves don't know about it. So it's kind of top-down, discerning all the knowledge. The same thing like Facebook. You have one follower, you just got to make sure that that follower is the one who's going to be passing it on to those 25 or 500 or whatever that are going to need that information.
Question, I think that we might be able to get a blast out to everyone with a Revere email address, right? Because we get them now that we have the Revere email. So maybe we can put together some messaging. Because there are some tools that are available to us from the Mass Cultural Council that we can maybe, wordsmith a bit. But I think, Joe, you're onto something too. It would be great to get it to the principals, the schools, the libraries, the places, but what are we doing about the people in case that message is not cascaded? So we should be able to, maybe we can ask about that and see if we can do like a city of, a blast, just an email blast on top of the social media outreach that we plan to do.
There is also the director of like arts and humanities at the high school. I could send her a copy too. That she could pass it along to her staff that does, theater, different performances, and, she can get it out as well.
Yeah. I was gonna also mention the community liaison office here at the City of Revere. so I can talk to Maddie and get it out there through the community liaison's office. There is a resource day coming up on September 5th, which is right at the beginning of the cycle when the application is open, and it's actually right here behind City Hall. And I participate as part of my agency, but I'll be there anyway, so I'll talk to Maddie and we can send that out for the community liaison's office to have a copy as well.
So at this event, Jaime, we can have a presence there where people could ask questions too?
That's what I was hoping. I was gonna bring it up as part of
Okay.
our communications. I'll be there anyway. If I get someone else to cover my table, I'll spend time at the community liaison's office as well. I spent some time at the Rivera's Farmers Market too, because we have a table there through my agency, so I'll talk to the community liaison's office about it too.
Excellent. So I will unfortunately be out of state on September 5th, or I would have loved to have joined. Is there anybody, other member of the council, if Jaime's able to get a table or someplace where we could provide flyers, resources, and ask questions, anyone else from the council that's maybe available that could assist with that? No, you'll be away.
What
I'll be
time is the
away.
event?
What time is the event, do you know? Hopefully, your call is important to us.
Mm-hmm. 12 to 2.
Is it at the farmer's market?
No, this is the Riviera Resource Day, which right here behind City Hall.
12 to 2, and that's Revere.
September 5th. It's a Friday.
Okay.
I'll see if I can do it. I'll just check my schedule at work.
Thank you, Debbie. Debbie, we'll see if she can join. All right, so to recap, and Debbie, I'll send this to you too. I'm just saying this for my own muscle memory. So perhaps we can collaborate on a list of places people want to drop off flyers. So it sounds like the flyer looks like we're gonna move in that direction with that we don't really have many edits to that other than getting it translated. So I'll see what we can do about getting some printed, and make them, I can either drop them off to people, locally, because we have a little bit of time between now and September 2nd to do that, so people can distribute them to their own, places they visit. And then we'll have the social media campaign. We will have a meeting in the middle of the cycle, so that will be good to gauge at least where people are in terms of application process. But whatever we do is more than what we did before. So I think that we are stepping into the right direction by having a plan, by having a resource for people, and then I think trying to promote the webinar and the info session will be paramount, because as we all know, just getting on the system ourselves, there are, there's frustrations and learning curves as people are going through and doing that, and we don't want anybody to be taken aback by the process, so whatever resources and help we can provide, I think would be better. Yes, sir.
I just thought of something when you mentioned the webinar. Is that something we could add to the flyer too?
I'll see if we can add the link there. I think the designer, my cousin, thought it was too busy with all the QR codes I
Yeah.
wanted. So I'll see if I can do that, but what I can do is when I get into the Instagram later, I can set up a link tree and have a link to all the different things, like, so then people, when they go to the Instagram, and it's a generational thing, right? We know there's a large generation that goes just to Instagram. So by having everything in one spot and then having the link tree on the Facebook page will appeal to other people, and then we'll be able to appeal to our friends that go to more community-based in-person activities like the senior centers, the schools, the libraries. We'll also have materials there for them too. Okay.
I can print them. I have a color printer at work. I can
Okay.
print out a big stack of them,
All right.
and then we can figure out
Debbie
how
will
to
be printing out
distribute.
flyers.
Awesome.
I think another place to target would be the Porch Fest. I think they're planning on, the mayor's office is planning to do a second Porch Fest.
Do you know the date?
They had one last year. I don't have the
Yeah.
date on that, but that's, typically musicians would come out to that, or people interested in music, so that might be a place to target musicians.
Yeah,
that
we
live
went,
in
Josh and I
Revere.
went last year, it was a really nice event for the first time, so I believe it was in October, so it would still be within.
I believe you're correct. I think they are planning, you said
Let's
October.
make sure it's within our deadline. So that is a good segue, Joe, into the next thing that we wanted to talk about, and I know that you in particular have been very passionate about this. Attendance at events, in particular, events that we fund, right? There are 5 of us now that are pretty engaged and want to be active. I don't want to sit here and say that we all have to go to X, right? So let's have a discussion, like, what do we think our presence should be like? If we are gonna plan to go to events, like, should we have like our own little calendar where we sort of sign up for the things? There is no way that we're all gonna be able to, no one person is gonna be able to go to all events in the city. So, let's just talk through, like, what are people's recommendations, suggestions, ideas around, because I think it is important, and I've noticed that at events, we get announced. You did. I was announced, and I wasn't even at the Pride event yet. Yeah, and Steve was like, Rocky for the Cultural Council, and I was getting text messages from my friends saying, you're late for your own party, which I didn't even know that I was speaking, or I would have been there. I would have been there a little earlier. So how do we want to go about it? Because I do think naturally there are many of us here that do go to things because we're interested. So let's talk through it. Go ahead, shoot.
Well, I do like to attend a lot of things, especially since I just moved here. So, and like, I was surprised when I went to the Asian celebration that they had, and then Stephen pulled me up and had me talk. I'm like, oh, hi. But I, like going to the Sand Festival when I went, I took pictures and video, and then I posted them and, tagged like Revere Beach and Cultural Council and tagged all that. So I'm thinking when we go to events, at least do that. Now, I love anything related to theater and music. So I'm happy to do those. I can do them on the weekends. I do plan to go back to work, and when that happens, I'll be working overnight, so I won't be available during the week. But I can do the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday things. But definitely anything related to theater or dramatic reading, anything related to music, I'm happy to do that. And art, like painting, things like that. So I'm definitely open for that.
I'm happy to attend as well, if I'm available, and, it shouldn't be a problem.
Okay.
I'll be there. I already participate on several, so I just have to make sure, not double dipping or anything, but I'll make sure that I can attend. I go to the Revere Farmers Market and have a table, maybe the days that I'm not at that table there for my other job. I'll go as a council member to talk to people. I'm also on the committee for the Shirley Ave Multicultural Festival that's coming up, so I'll be there as well. So there's several that I'm already involved in, so I'll be around and can support while I'm there. But yes, count me in.
Excellent. And Joe, I know anything music? Anything at the
Yeah,
yard?
I think that a big tie-in is going to be the high school, because the high school has our biggest and most visible arts component in the city, meaning that they have their own art show with with their whole.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
But
But that's only open usually to the high school community. They might put out a social media post on that. They do have their dramatics
I love
thing,
it,
which is
yeah.
another
Yeah.
component, which we spoke of. I know that they were thinking about doing something in the parks, so to approach the drama teachers too as being ahead, are key people in terms of these grants or activities. Because what we also want to do is get the next generation. We want succession here. We were talking about getting interns and young people involved in the arts, and what a grant actually is, and how they could propose something that actually takes shape or form. So the only way to get them is to kind of go into their world. We can't expect them necessarily to come into our world. So knowing when those events are would be helpful.
Just a question, is there because when you mentioned outdoor, maybe theater, is there a place in Revere where they can do like a small version of, like in New York and Central Park, they have the out there, like Shakespeare in the Park. Is there an outdoor performance area where, because these high school kids were so incredibly talented when I went to see Grease, I was blown away. So if they put like say maybe they apply for a grant to do some kind of a theater thing, is there an outdoor space where they can do outdoor theater? Is there a location here?
I mean, I think that the beach is probably a good spot, or maybe that new park that's by the beach. I think there are
Okay.
options for that. I think there's a lot of passion around. I know we've talked about, we were not able to get an event off the ground. We are gonna be able to do that. Spoiler alert out there, TV Land, we don't have the total amount of what we're able to grant. Once that information is available to us, we will publicize that. But the council does get to take a certain percentage for our own event. So that might be something for us to add as an agenda item next time, Debbie. Like, for us to talk through, what is it that we want to do? Because if you're passionate about that, Lark, we could do
I
that.
love that.
And we could, if we can work together to do that, I think, Joe has expressed a lot of passion around doing some things for the senior center, which could be in tandem. We could do an event that's outdoors and then also goes to some of the senior centers. So perhaps that when we're together, the next time we're able to maybe talk through what it is that we'd like to use with the percentage of money that we have available to us, which is Jaime, keep me honest, what is it, 10% we're allowed to take? Is it 10?
5% for administrative, and there was a 20% for.
So, we
something
do
like
get a
50.
little-
So it ends up about 25%, it
Probably,
look
yeah.
like.
It won't be, it's not gonna be a huge amount of money, but it will be money that we can get something off the ground for our own project. So we will definitely add that to the agenda item for next time,
Yeah.
as something to discuss in more.
And just to add, like Rocky said, it's especially for something that we see is amiss and that we want to support, we could utilize it for those purposes as a council. So that's a great idea. like-
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
20 years ago, I was on stage at Commonwealth Shakespeare doing Hamlet with someone that you all might have heard of, Pedro Pascal. So obviously, I would be really into us doing something, and Shakespeare's free, we don't have to pay for the rights for that.
Yeah,
To go in that
that's true.
direction.
And it
Well,
doesn't have to be a full-out production.
No.
It could be a
No.
monologue competition
Sonnets.
of different,
Yeah.
different ethnicities and
Yeah.
things, playwrights that people haven't heard of, and just have the students come up with that. And
That's
this,
terrific.
have a group of
Yeah.
people, just like the beauty contest, but just interpretations and stuff. And that
Right.
also preps them for art school, back room, if they're planning to go to like
That
college.
is a brilliant idea, because the National Forensics League, which I was involved with in high school, which is dramatic interpretation, extemporaneous speech, et cetera, that's a big national thing, and there are scholarships for that. But if we can do something like that and get the kids, because I don't know if Revere High School is involved in national forensics. They should be if they aren't. But I think that's a brilliant idea, and that preps people not only just for the arts, but just for everyday life too, and I think that's a great idea. I love that.
Yeah, the only thing I would like to add along the lines of the use of those amounts is also thinking of us as a council having an event to award the grantees, like having an event to present the awards, so that there's more
Yes.
of our footprint of what's being done at City Hall. So I think that was another thing I wanted to add as far as that percentage goes.
What's interesting too, and I'm sure it's gonna happen tomorrow, it was funny, my mother, Steven saw it too, but we were in the paper from the last meeting. We were on the front page of the paper. So we are getting a little bit of advertisement by just being here today. But I think to Jaime's point and to, everyone else's, the more exposure we have that we exist, hi, we're here, we want to do work, the more we're going to be able to do that much more in the community. I agree with Jaime. I would like to have some sort of, we'll call it a recognition event, whether we give them, a piece of paper, a certificate, hopefully we can get some of the city council or even the mayor to come and be just because I think that goes a long way.
Sure,
And
it
that's a pretty, very easy feat for us to do. So we can add those as discussion points for the next meeting. I think we have a solid communication plan. In terms of events, I'm looking at the calendar of what's coming up. There's a lot of meetings, right? It's summertime, things tend to be a little bit slower. Perhaps as a takeaway for all of us, take a look at the calendar for the next 2 months. And when we come back, we can maybe say, okay, these are the events I really am passionate about that I want to go to. And we can just see if there's any duplication and just have a little bit of a schedule. I, again, don't want to be like, oh, you have to go to 3, you have to go to 5, you have to go to whatever, because I don't think that ever is going to work for anybody. But I think that people want to see us and they want to hear from us, and the only way we're going to get the word out is if we're there.
What neighborhoods are active? I mean, I know the Beach neighborhood
The beach
is
is
very active.
booming.
Beachmont is very active,
Yep.
and the Shirley neighborhood is very
Very
active. I don't hear as much from the other neighborhoods with neighborhood organizations or doing activities in the paper or anything like that. So, I mean, I'd be interested to find out
Yeah.
what's
I'm-
going on in those neighborhoods, if anybody knows about anything that goes on in those neighborhoods.
Yeah, the majority, to your point, Joe, like looking at the, I'm just looking at the Revere calendar, right? It's all the yard, the farmers, like you said, Beachmont, Suffolk Downs, Revere Beach area. So if you're out there in TV land, you have events, let us know. Ping us, we would love to come.
Come to the next
You
meeting.
like that? You like that?
Rocky, come to the next meeting and come tell us.
Come to the
Yeah.
next meeting and tell us, right? We want to hear from you. I feel like we are in a better place than I thought we were in terms of next steps. I will take the actions around the flyer, seeing if I can get translation. Jaime, if I can't, you could get me the translation.
Send them my way, I'll do it.
You'll do it. Do you want you want the file of the,
That
or
would
do you
be
want to give me
great.
the text and then he'll edit it?
Whatever's easiest for you.
I'll talk to him tomorrow, and
Yeah.
then I'll text you. Because if you send him he might be able to just put it in, or he might have a program where you can run it through. I know some of those programs are doing that now, but then we want someone to check it, because you know, the dialect is different. You can go to any part in Italy and it's gonna be someone different that says a word different than you do.
I do some of those already at work, but through City Hall. I don't know if translation services, they'll review it. I don't know how that works, but just FYI, I can help, definitely.
Excellent, yeah. But the flyer is good, and what I like about the flyer is all we have to do is just change the dates next year. It looks like we can keep the same one. It's a
no,
pretty
they're
good
nice
standard one.
flyers.
I like when it's, well, I thought that there was gonna be a template from the Mass Cultural Council that they said, here, you gotta use this and add in all your stuff, but there isn't. They have a lot of other really great resources, so I am not complaining, but it gave us the creativity to come up with our own, so that was really, really good. Meetings for the fall, I want to make sure we're all aligned, because that, and I'm going to take the hit on that one. I had a vacation planned this week that I couldn't make on the 14th, and because we're small but mighty, I want to make sure everyone can be here. For the benefit of Joe, who wasn't here when I said it, I have gotten permission that Lark can join us virtually. Same for you. So if we have situations in advance where somebody needs to join virtually, we can do that. And if I have to be the person that joins virtually, we'll figure it out. Jaime can also run the meeting as well. So the next one that we do, definitely Lark, you won't be with us. So we'll get to test what that process looks like. So for the rest of us that are here, they had asked me today to come a little bit earlier, and then I canceled them because you were coming in. So when I get all that information, I'll make sure it's scheduled, and if everybody wants to be here, so that we can learn what the process is to click somebody in, so if one of us has to do it, that everyone knows.
Okay.
But the dates that Debbie, do you want to review the dates, since my voice is getting hoarse? Thank you.
Okay, we have the second Thursday of the month, so we have at 6 o'clock, September 11th, October 9th, November 13th, and December 11th at this time.
Are there any known conflicts other than the ones, like with Lark, I know that we would have to be virtual for at least the September one. Are there any other known conflicts with those meetings that we need to work around?
I have one conflict, which
Yeah.
is October 9th. I'll be out of the country, but I can participate virtually if necessary.
That's
I know
fine.
October and November are going to be the busiest probably when we look reviewing
The
all that.
scariest times for us, the most fun times for us, will be after October 16th. So,
Oh, okay.
so when the grant applications close on October 16th, that's when our work will really begin, in terms
Right.
of reviewing and then moving forward with that process. So when we get to the October 9th meeting, one of the things that I will do during that is we will have gone through the guidelines. I recommended the training, and I know some of us have taken that. The guidelines, the updated guidelines training is on August 20th, Joe. I don't know if you got that link or not, but a lot of us are going to be in the webinar. We'll go over what the process is, and we'll agree to how we're going to independently review. Remember, open meeting policy, we can't discuss it through email or text ahead of time, but we certainly can come here prepared for what that meeting will look like in November. Depending on the number of grants that we have, we might need to add in an additional meeting. So we'll have a better idea, I think, by October, like what we have. But one of the things that's been thrown out was like coming up with our own independent scoring system, where everyone can go through and and then we can come and compare, because if we have a lot of grants, we may have to just go through everything like we did. Remember, Joe and I did this last year. We were in a different position where we were able to award everybody, but we went through it first pass and like, okay, these are the projects we're gonna move forward with. And then and then we dealt with the money situation in the second meeting. So that's probably the approach we would take, because we do have to provide, I don't know the exact time frame on it. It is in the guidelines for projects that we decide to not move forward with. We have to give them a little bit of a period where they could come to a meeting and then they could ask questions or provide further context. So all those templates and notes are available. I don't know if you've seen them in the toolkit, because you and I, we'll take a look at it. All those emails that we're gonna have to deal with come out. We're really excited about it, don't worry. But I want us all to kind of just be prepared, especially around the holidays. I think council chambers tends to be a little bit more open for us to get, like if we needed to go on a different day, or we might want to consider making.
It's generally the first or second week in January that's ultimately due,
The
because
deadline.
that's when the budgets are all passed or have to be in by January like 14th. Ideally, we'd like to pass, or we try to pass, we got them done early last year by December, because you want to kind of steer clear of the holidays, because you get the holidays and you lose 2 weeks in between. So
Right.
it seems like it's a long time, but it's really condenses around the holiday.
And we might want to extend, and I could talk with Ashley now. Is anybody in after us at 7? All right. Do you know off the top of your head?
I don't know, some days no.
I might go ahead. I know nobody wants to do this during the holidays. Hi, I'm everybody. But I might go ahead and extend our December 11th 2 hours, because that would be, that's what we did last year. That is probably the one where we're gonna have to make the most decisions, right, prior to
Okay.
the break before the holiday. So let's tentatively put that, and Debbie, I'll take that as an action with Ashley when she's back from vacation, to extend the December 11th to 2 hours. I'll probably do it on that 5 is hard, especially during the holidays, so probably maybe a 6 to 8 situation on that day.
Okay.
Does that affect I know you said you're going to nights, will that really throw you off?
No, that's okay, as long as I leave like by 9:30.
We have to be out of here before, we'll be
yeah.
out by 8.
Oh, okay. Okay.
We do, the building has to close. at
Oh,
some
the
point.
building,
I don't want to be like, what's that TV show where the kids locked in the museum?
Oh.
We're all locked in City Hall.
okay.
So we're all good with the meetings as planned with that adjustment, to making that 2 hours, great. Okay, so at this time, any new business that we haven't discussed? I'll open the floor. It's like I'm doing my virtual calls at work. I count to 3, 1,000. All right, team, so if there's no new business, next steps, just to recap for everybody. I'll contact about the additional hour on December 11th. We will see about the translations for the flyer. I will get on both the Instagram and Facebook account before the end of the week. Well, I'm gonna give myself till next week because I'm going away this weekend, so I might not get it done. We'll get that done, so we can do that. I'll see about the paid ads. Debbie has volunteered to get some flyers for us, so we can just maybe in our group emails. I do ask y'all now, I know it's confusing because we all have things going on. I was asked now to have a City of Revere email address, so if we can email myself, Jaime, and Debbie have that. I believe the two of you can also get it if you want an additional one. I don't know if you.
How do we do that?
I can message IT, and they can walk you through that if you'd rather that.
Okay, sure.
Than have your own. But I know we're in this world of email, so we could take that offline. But if you could start bringing business, and I'm going to do a better job of making sure that I email you all specifically from that. I just have 3 Outlooks now on my phone, so it's like figuring out which Outlook I'm looking at. The Revere one is red, so
Yeah,
I know
no,
that I see
I
the little
hear you.
red R. It's me.
I'm starting to need like a map to figure out
Figure
my
out which
phone.
email,
you know?
which email am I using? So we'll get the minutes out to everybody. We don't have to send them to Ashley, we just only have to send them to ourselves, so that everyone sees that. We have the notes on the flyer. I think we have a solid start to a communication plan. And that's that. I think that we could keep up the momentum. I'm really confident in this team and what we're gonna do. I think, I look at my goal as the chair that you all elected, which was that this year we want to let's get through the grants, with the goal of outreaching to more people. And then when we're back in February, after we award them, we can really sit down and say, what do we want this to look like? And have an even bigger splash for 2027.
I'm excited about it.
The energy's great.
Yeah.
Energy's great.
And
All right.
we don't have the first push, I guess, would be in September with the flyers, but we definitely have an active push in October, because there's the Arts on the Beach.
There's so much stuff,
I think
yeah.
that's the first 2 weeks of October usually is, they're doing something, whatever, so at least say, still time to get your thing in. The farmer's market will be in its heyday, because all the produce
the
will be
yeah.
coming in, so right now, you got a few little things coming in, but it should be by October, you'll have the biggest farmer's market of the year.
And then, Jaime,
And
when
you have
you,
Porch Fest,
Porch Fest.
in October, so you have like 3 arts-related events in
Well,
Revere.
what is Arts on the Beach?
they do like they have like a show, like it's like a,
Do
I don't
they-
want to call it like
They have tents on the beach or something?
I think it's like people are selling their, it's almost like a craft, like almost like a arts and craft fair. Where
Oh.
people have they're displaying and you can purchase them. Similar to what they had at sand sculpture. They
Oh,
had like a little
okay.
under the, you saw, so you see all the little artisans?
Yes.
I'm actually wearing somebody's bracelet that I bought.
Okay.
Thank you,
There
artist.
you go.
That
But
was there.
they have fine art there,
They
too.
have fine art and just different types
Oh,
of,
Paint-
that's
paint-
fun.
paintings
And
they
this
had
is in
out, so-
October?
it is in October.
Oh, I'm gonna love that. Okay, I
and then
never
I-
knew about that.
And then from a farmer's market, if we wanted to have a table, is that something that we can request with them?
That sounds fun.
Yeah, I can follow up with Sam.
Yeah, because
I'll
I could
send an
probably
email.
do 1 or 2, it's towards the end of September and October, I could probably camp out there
Yeah,
a couple times, maybe just as we get closer to the grants.
I think the Riviera Farmers Market is in the summer, but October I can see who manages that. And
When do they end the do we know when the farmer's market ends? I know we funded it, but the date's on top of Riviera Farm. I think it goes through September, doesn't it?
Yeah, through September. But you mentioned in October, so that's why I got confused. But
Through
the Riviera
September
one-
26th.
Yeah.
So we do have, but to Joe's point, we do have some time where we
Yeah.
could get, if grants open on, there's 4 Fridays that maybe we can get some
Yeah.
presents there. Or even just to talk to people and say, hey, look, and have some of the flyers, so.
But
And then-
I'll follow up with Sam and figure out about a table, or we can go and spend time at the table with the community liaison's office.
Yeah, that even
'Cause we
works,
can
too. We
sit
can do
with
shifts
them.
there, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I don't know how far Amaya is gonna do their Thursday arts and
Activities,
stuff.
yeah.
Twisted Fates is supposed to be opening in September, so there'll be a young, youthful presence around that time.
Excellent. And that's right, I can see that from my window. All right, so we've covered everything on the agenda. I think this was very productive. Looking for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn? Oh, sorry.
We'll let you do the motion this time because Debbie got to do it last time.
Motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, Cultural Council meeting, let me get the exact time here. on the thing.
5:53.
Adjourned at 5:53 PM.
All right.